WWE Super Showdown is just a few days away. Join my dad and I as we break down the card and give you our 2020 Super Showdown predictions next on youtube.com/countdownended.
You can use it!
What's going on, ladies and gents? Jake, a.k.a. Countdown Ended, coming to you once again. I'm back, joined by my lovely daughter, Danielle.
Hi, guys.
We're here to bring you our annual WWE Super Showdown predictions, heading back over for the blood money in Saudi Arabia. That's right, we're once again going to go ahead and break down the card best we can today. And from there, we'll pick our matches. We'll see what we think is going to happen this Thursday in Saudi Arabia. So we're excited. It's a stacked night indeed. There's a lot to go over, a lot to discuss. And I'm actually somewhat looking forward to this show now that, the card is finally shaping up to be pretty interesting. So, Danny, if you want to go over the first match and tell us who you're going to think is going to win and why.
The first match is Corbin versus Roman, and I think that Baron Corbin, in the steel cage. I think that Baron Corbin is going to win because we've seen Roman Reigns win like all the previous matches that we've seen these two face each other in. So I think that Corbin's going to win. Dad, what do you think?
See, that's an interesting point. You go back and forth, and Baron Corbin has not won anything against Roman so far. I mean, he's gotten a bit of revenge making him eat dog food, but then Roman did the same in return. We've seen them take each other on at the Royal Rumble in the no holds bars, fall count anywhere match. And Roman, is time after time beaten King Corbin. So I think actually I'm gonna agree with you on this one. I was thinking Roman to kind of keep his momentum going strong into Mania, but hearing that plans have changed and we might not get the matches we originally thought, I think I might go ahead and say Baron Corbin wins this one since it is the end of the feud as they advertised. This is it. They've had this feud going on for far too long, so I think that this is the culmination of everything. Baron Corbin will get his heat back and be able to go forward and kind of wash away all those losses. So he'll be able to say, I finally beat Roman and all the other losses didn't matter because in the end, I reigned supreme. Next match, we have The New Day taking on Miz and Morrison. Danny, who do you think is going to win and why?
I think that The Miz and Morrison is going to win because seeing as Morrison is just coming back from wrestling with other companies, I think that they're going to win. And also, I think that this is like The Miz's time to shine. Dad, what do you think?
Yeah, they've been working well as heels, Miz and Morrison. I think they're going to try and do more with the dirt sheet. Plus, I think that heading into WrestleMania, they're going to want heels be the tag champs because my guess, and I think it might be a little outlandish, but I think Tucker and Otis and Heavy Machinery are going to be the ones to challenge for the tag titles at WrestleMania. I think they're building Otis up. He's a severe crowd favorite, crowds chanting his name with the Mandy storyline currently. So I think Heavy Machinery actually is going to go ahead and get the tag titles off of some heel champs at Mania. And who better to work with than The Miz and Morrison? So I agree with you there. I think New Day, their reign ends here. Doesn't mean this will be the last we see from them, but Miz and Morrison go ahead and take the belts. Next up, we have the Monday Night Messiah teaming up with Murphy, formerly known as Buddy Murphy, taking on the Street Profits. Who do you think is going to win and why?
I think that the Street Profits are going to win because me and you saw them wrestle at TakeOver 25, and I really like them. Dad, what do you think?
Yeah, you're going off of a personal bias. I can't blame you there. And interesting enough, I mean, you haven't really watched anything for wrestling since, the Rumble? That was the last time you really tuned in. So that's one of the reasons, man. I always love doing this with you, but I wanted your perspective because, I didn't want to taint your opinion. I wanted you to go ahead and pick, your predictions first, and then I'll go after you so there's no influence there. And I was curious to see what you thought. Street Profits are kind of in a bit of resurgence on Monday Night Raw at this point. They haven't been handled the best so far. They haven't really been taken that serious. This will certainly give them a bit of a moment of elevation. I don't think that they're going to capture the tag titles yet. I do see them being tag champions soon. How soon, I'm not so sure, but I believe that the Monday Night Messiah and his disciples will retain. Obviously, they'll find a way to use either AOP or some other underhanded means as heels to do so. Next up, we have the two-week trophy gauntlet match. So, it'll be two men come out first, and then whoever loses will be replaced by another superstar. We have AJ Styles, R-Truth, Rusev, Andrade, Bob, or Bobby Lashley, and Eric Rowan, maybe with his cage. This is an interesting setup here. They usually do some type of trophy or new belt or, some type of gimmick match. We've seen the best in the world, the best tag team in the world. And they didn't want to, have those titles be defended. So here they came up with a new trophy entirely. An interesting setup. It gives these guys something to do. Danny, who do you think's going to win and why?
Out of all 6 of these wrestlers, I like AJ Styles the most, so I think that AJ Styles is going to win, or I hope that he is.
That's a really solid choice. AJ miraculously came back from injury very quickly at the Royal Rumble when he tried to give Edge a great, sell on a spear and landed wrong on his shoulder. Thankfully, he made it back in time, before WrestleMania season. And you did not see this, but my prediction kind of strays a little bit. I think they're going to go for the comedy angle to make the crowd happy. I think R-Truth is going to win. But I think it's going to come down to R-Truth and AJ at the end. And The Undertaker is going to come out and cause either a distraction or some type of interference for AJ Styles. AJ made a claim that, he's headed to Mania and he needs something big to do. He needs to find a worthy opponent. And between, obviously, the dirt sheets, the rumors, everything building up, seems like that's definitely going to be The Undertaker that he's facing. I'm looking forward to that if it does come to fruition. So I think the Saudi show won't be the same without Mark Calloway stopping by. They need the dead man. He's a huge draw over there. He's extremely popular. He's one of the legends that consistently has shown up overseas. It's someone that they revere. And there's no John Cena. There's no Triple H. They don't really no Kane wrestling. No Shawn Michaels this time. So they are in need of some form of wow factor, and I think The Undertaker will be it. So again, I believe R-Truth will win, but that comes down to The Undertaker, even if it's just his gong and he comes out, some form of distraction to build towards the Mania feud for him and AJ Styles. And next match, Danny, if you want to go ahead and break it down for us.
Next, we have Bayley versus Naomi for the Women's SmackDown Championship. I think that Naomi's going to win because seeing as this is the second match in Saudi Arabia, I think that something big is going to happen. Dad, what do you think?
Yeah, this is the second women's match ever in WWE history in Saudi Arabia. And, first time we saw Natalya take on Lacey Evans. And we'll get to her in a minute. But here we have it, with these two facing off. I think that Bayley's going to cheat to retain. She's going to do something similar to the way she beat Lacey. And, she'll get to the tights or, some heel tactic. That's kind of been her shtick so far. She'll stick with that. And I think that they're going to end up building towards Lacey Evans winning the third chamber match, thankfully. So Lacey Evans did let it slip that she's, getting herself prepared for the chamber match. And at this point in time, we only knew of one for the Raw women and one for the men's for the Universal Championship. So this would be a third chamber match happening at the next pay-per-view. I'd like to see Lacey Evans win that and go on to face Bayley and finally get her comeuppance and beat down, by Lacey Evans. I think that'd be a good story to tell. So I don't see Naomi winning here, but I think it'll be a good match. Obviously, they're going to want to put on a good show for the women's division and represent properly. So all in all, it'll be a good match. Bayley retains. Next up, Danny.
Next up is Brock Lesnar versus Ricochet. Dad, who do you think is going to win?
This is for the WWE title. You went ahead and you were very close. You said that Ricochet would eliminate Brock Lesnar. I thought you were crazy, but lo and behold, we saw, Ricochet get that kick in, square in the nuts, and that helped Drew McIntyre set up the Claymore and send Brock over the top rope. and become eliminated from the Royal Rumble, which then led to Drew McIntyre winning the entire thing. So great win there, but I think that they're going to build Ricochet here. I think that they're going to try and make him look as impressive as possible, give him a little bit of that rub, a little bit of that magic, and help, raise his stock overall. He's not going to win. The Mania match is set, I think, personally. But I think that they're going to go ahead and have Ricochet come close a few times. Same kind of match we've seen with Daniel Bryan, with Finn Balor, with AJ Styles, in that ilk, that vein. And then from there, afterwards, after Ricochet loses, Brock's going to tear him apart and rip him to pieces. He'll keep the beat down to really get his heat on. So, who do you think's going to win, Danny?
At this point, I think that someone needs to steal the WWE title from Brock Lesnar, and I think that's going to be Ricochet.
So you're just doubling down with Ricochet then. All right, we'll see what happens. Watch you be right, I'm telling you. But for right now, I'm just going to leave you as crazy. And then, finally, the match that I am personally looking forward to the most, I think, on this entire card, we have Goldberg coming back. He's taking on The Fiend. This is a really interesting matchup. A lot of hemming and hawing. I mean, at first, people thought that, going by what's being reported on the back end, we could see Roman Reigns take on, Goldberg instead. That would be more of a money matchup. Now we're hearing that Goldberg won't even be at WrestleMania, so that's something to consider, but you never know what plans are set in stone. It's kind of been all over the place. Then you heard plans have changed entirely, so I'm just kind of let you start. Who do you think's going to win here and why?
I think that Goldberg is only really good in short matches, so I think that The Fiend's going to win. Also because I think that WWE is going to want The Fiend to look strong going into WrestleMania.
That's very true. I can understand that reasoning. That's sound. I agree. Every Goldberg match I've showed you, the good ones are short. The one with him and the Undertaker was not that great. So, thankfully, if they keep it short and sweet, a la what they did at Survivor Series initially, that kind of shocking performance, I think that we'll have something to admire here. If they were able to give us something longer and add some, great big spots, I think that would be great. But, unfortunately, that's not the case. I think this is going to be short, sweet, straight to the point. We're going to see a couple of spears, the Fiend kicks out, and then Mandible Claw. Sister Abigail, makes Goldberg passes out, and he adds him to his Firefly Funhouse mural. The Fiend retains, and then the Fiend is going to go ahead and take on, I believe, John Cena at WrestleMania. That's my guess, since plans are changing. We heard Cena and Elias and the Fiend and Roman Reigns, but since they said those are changing currently, I truly believe that we're going to go ahead and see the Fiend take on John Cena. Tons of history there. The Fiend, or I should say Bray Wyatt, lost to Cena all that time ago in New Orleans, WrestleMania 30. What an entrance. His music was played live to the ring, and unfortunately, I think that he should have won. And, it's interesting, but we'll see what happens. Do you have a guess for WrestleMania at this point, Danny, or who will see the Fiend face?
I think that would be cool to see The Fiend versus Triple H.
That would be cool. I mean, there's a lot of legends that the Fiend can go through to have a good match. I don't even know if we'll see Triple H at Mania, so that's something certainly interesting to consider. But yeah, I think Cena this coming Friday on SmackDown is going to announce that we're going to go ahead and see him in the Chamber match. And from there, he'll win and he'll replace Roman Reigns' Mania match, and then Roman will take on somebody else. So we'll see what happens, but I'd rather see John Cena and The Fiend go one-on-one. That's about it. We should hopefully have an exciting show. You won't be here to watch it with me, but I thank you for going ahead and joining me for the prediction show once again. You'll be down in sunny Florida, in a little vacation, but I appreciate you going ahead and doing this with me as always. I love you. Everybody, go ahead and comment down below. Let us know, what match are you most excited for? What are your predictions? And who do you think is going to win big? Also, let us know what tentative plans and ideas do you have for WrestleMania. What do you think's shaping up to be for the card? As always, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay sexy.